All right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to State of the Republic podcast live. For those of you who are tuning into our channel for the first time, we are a podcast slash live show that talks all about Soccer Republic and also all things Central Valley soccer. So feel free to subscribe to us if you haven't yet on our podcast, and also follow us on social media because we're going to be having so much more guests this preseason, as you know we're all waiting for our clubs to return to season. We have World Cup coming soon too, so we have lots of fun things planned around that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our special guests here tonight. We have Alexia Estrada, goalkeeper for Stan State, and also Alexis Brewah, forward, also for Stan State. Welcome to State of the Republic. How's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Really happy. This is the first time that we have, a live show with, college players on it. So really excited to hear more about this season and just what all y'all's careers have been like thus far.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. Also, for anyone watching right now, if you want to leave your comments, if you have questions you want to ask them as well, feel free to drop them in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. You could do that there. If you're on Twitter, for some reason they got rid of live comments, which is a shame, but you can hop on our YouTube or Facebook page, and we'll display them here as soon as we're able to. But let's go ahead and start with this question. And either of you, I guess you guys could figure out who answers first and all that. But I want to know, how did you become a soccer player, and like, where did your love for the sport come from?
For me, I would say, well, I started playing soccer because of my dad. He kind of like made me play a season, but then I think as I grew up, I started to love it. In the beginning, I definitely like didn't. It was more like I did it for my dad. But yeah, I just started loving my position. I love playing. I love the friends I was making through the sport, so that made me really like it.
And for me, it was my dad also. Well, both my parents used to play soccer, and my older siblings, we all played soccer. So it's just like a family tree of like soccer players. And I started when I was 4, and I'm still playing here. And like Alexia said, it's just growing to love this sport over the years and just really trying to like perfect my craft, I'd say.
Nice. Hey, that's awesome. Being able to, start young, and a lot of people think, you have to wait until you're younger, or basically when you're younger, you could actually, start playing. But I think you could start playing at any age, and the sky's the limit. And if you dream it, you can make it there, right? And being in college isn't an easy thing, especially when you have to, also have college classes on top of that too, right? So, kudos to you too for, still being able to enjoy the sport that you've loved since you were younger, and still, be able to, have a busy schedule, right? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about your favorite career moment that you've had thus far, and you can go as far back as like your first club team. What has been your all-time favorite moment so far?
I feel like there's been too many, but probably saying probably winning like state cup during my club years. We won it a couple times, but just that feeling of like going through an entire season and being the last team standing. I think that's probably like my favorite soccer career moment.
For me, I would say like my last game playing community college, just because like the team we had, and like it was our like one of the playoff games, and it was just like a really important game to us, and we lost like right at the end. Um, so it was just like a lot of emotion I felt for soccer in that moment. But yeah.
No, here's a question for both of you as well. I don't have it like here on the screen, but um, what differences have you found jumping from club soccer to college soccer? Like, what was that jump for you guys like as well?
It's definitely one that like it takes some time to get used to. Going from club and then going to college, it's just like a whole different level of soccer, and the pace is like much quicker. The girls are much bigger. Everyone's as fast, as good as each other. So it's just trying to find a place.
I agree. I think like the biggest change I saw was the pace of the game. Like it's just a faster game in general at the college level.
Yeah, no, especially as everyone is probably trying to go pro, right? Trying to get drafted and whatnot. I'm sure it's a whole another world.
Yeah.
Well, this season you guys won the CCAA championship. So just tell us more overall, like how the season went, and then what it felt, to get a championship. Especially because both of you are juniors, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And tell us more about like what it feels like to be a champion.
I mean, honestly, it was a roller coaster of a season.
Yeah.
I remember like our first conference game, we lost. I believe it was 3-1, and everybody was down. And like one thing our coach said is like, you don't win or lose the conference in the first game. And like ever since then, like we had our like peaks and valleys, and I'd say like a turning moment in our season was probably playing against like Sonoma. We were up 2-0 against them, and then we ended up losing the game 4-2. And that was just like a I don't know, like a nail in the foot. Like it's like, okay, like we need to step up. And after that, we went on to like I believe tie the next 2 games against Chico and Pomona. Yeah, and then after that, we won like our last 5 games of the season, and that's what led us to being champions. So like honestly, it's just a roller coaster. So like you can never get too high or too low, and I feel like that's just what we did. Resilience.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that game was really like a turning point because it showed us that we could have beat them. Like we had the lead, and we just like lost it. And I think everybody just hated that feeling of getting 4 goals scored on them. So because like everybody felt those 4 goals, I know everybody did. So yeah, I think that was just like nobody wants to feel that again, and I think that's what we went with for the next few games.
Yeah, no, comebacks against any team are always really tough, right? But that they do say that the game is all about streaks, right? So I mean, all it took is just getting that one game won, and then the next one, and then the wins just kind of come at you, right? The confidence, right, is what you feel, right?
Yeah.
Well, how about putting the championship aside? Because I mean, that'll probably be the answer. But what did you feel was like your favorite moment of the season aside from the championship?
My favorite moment of the season. What was the one trip? The first away trip? The bus ride? Do you remember? I would say for me it was like one of the bus rides on our away trips. I don't remember exactly which one, but like everybody was just singing. Like it just felt. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was just a great like you felt together. I guess in that moment, it was like nice. I don't know. It was just fun. Not soccer, everybody just took their mind off of soccer for a second.
Yeah. My favorite moment of the season, maybe I think it was our game against Cal State LA. At the time, the first time we played them, they were in first place, and they had not they were undefeated the entire season. And honestly, we're short a couple of our key players, I'd say. And we went into that game and came out with a victory, and then ended up being in first place the next week. And I feel like that's what led us to like our championship as well. But that game was it was a tough game, and we were down 1-0, and then we ended up winning 2-1, which is great.
Yeah, you were on the other side for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, comeback wins. I mean, when it's on you, I mean, there's nothing better than that. I always say, right? I mean, you could win a game easy 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, whatever, right? But if you came back from losing a game that you thought maybe was already lost, or it was just a tough game, then yeah, that's all that really matters there. So we got my co-host of the show. She couldn't join us today, but saying welcome to the podcast. The fun that you're sharing your experiences with us. And then she has a question for y'all. So what's the farthest away competition during the season?
That's Humboldt.
Humboldt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what? towards Oregon. Like that was
it's near Eureka. Or it's past Eureka, I think actually.
Yeah, around that area, and that was like 8.
Yeah, it felt really long
on a bus. It was terrible.
Wow, that's rough, right? I mean, 8 hours, 9 hours. I mean, there's players that complain about being on a plane cross country, but that does not compare being on a bus for that much long. Wow.
Yeah.
Even goodness, arcade is a long way to travel. But then I guess it makes kind of sense, right? Because it's like, where else could they compete? I guess maybe if they restructured it, it's like maybe they could play against Oregon teams or.
Well, that's how they were. I think our coach was telling us like they weren't in our conference, and then they changed it because they were in a conference that played like Oregon teams and all that.
Oh, and then they were just like, you know what? No, they put them in California. They don't.
I don't know.
Were they like a tough team to play against, or people like, we don't want them here? They're too tough for us.
They were pretty tough. I think we tied that game 0-0.
It was 1-1.
Or 1-1. Yeah, 1-1. They were tough. Yeah. Maybe just an off game for us, but that game was tough.
Did you feel like the travel took a toll on you, or did it feel the same as any other like away game?
It was so different. Like we're in the middle of nowhere. It was super cold. Like it was just
a turf field.
Yeah, turf
field condition. Yeah.
It was a lot, honestly.
Bunch of trees everywhere, right? That's what I always imagine when I think Humboldt. Like you're playing in a forest, basically.
Oh yeah.
They use the trees for the goal nets too. She also wants to know, what's the worst weather location you played in?
Somewhere that was like super cold or like.
I played in Colorado and like Wyoming, and that altitude is just, it's terrible. Like you cannot even breathe like when you're running. It's such a like contrast compared to like California. It was bad.
I feel like change of air, like the air anywhere.
Yeah.
Like worse. I played it in Tahoe once. It was like starting to snow a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it was just so cold. Like the snow didn't really affect anything. It just felt like a rainy field, but it was just really cold. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. When I can imagine playing in the snow, right? We've seen some of the U.S. national teams play in that, and it's crazy, right? It's like, how can you play? Like the ball's not gonna roll.
Yeah.
And then they have to have that like orange ball, right, or something, so like you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I've heard stories of actually playing in altitude, and our very own like Sac Republic, they played against Colorado Springs, which is pretty high. And we played over there twice, and they, lost 3-0 the first game. And then our last playoff game, they lost over there. And I'm 100% it was the altitude, which is a shame, right? That they shouldn't even, in my opinion, they shouldn't even allow any team to play in that like scenario. That should not be a thing, because it's just inhuman, I think, to do those things. So another one here: favorite roomie on a road trip, and why?
Well, we weren't roommates at all this entire season. I wonder why. My favorite roommate was probably one of the freshmen, Alana. We've grown to become like the best of friends. So yeah, it's just probably the best roommate this season.
For me, I think it was Isela, because it was just the incident that happened that made it funny. She brought her jersey in the hotel, so he had to get she had to borrow one. Basically, was calling like the hotel to try and get the jersey back. It was just like, I don't know, it was just a situation to be in.
Oh no! Do they usually like carry like an extra jersey or two, maybe without a number or something, or
extra in case any jerseys get blood on them? Yeah, but so she just wore one of those, so it worked out. But she just lost her jersey.
Yeah, for a number, what were they like? Just pull a piece of paper and bring a tape and then just tape the number back. Oh, that's interesting. So, like, do you not get to pick your roommate, or how is it that you two like weren't able to like room together?
That's crazy. We'd ask ourselves this every trip, but the coaches choose for us.
Oh, okay. They were like, yeah, no, make sure they're not in the same one. They're already cool. Like, they have that chemistry already. That's that's funny. Another one here regarding your coaching staff. What was most impactful drill or pep talk or just moment? Tell us more about it.
I think it was after the Cal State LA game, right? And Lauren was talking to us and she started crying within that game.
Oh yeah.
Our assistant coach, like after the Cal State LA game, when we came back and won the game, she was talking to us after and she started crying. Like usually she'll give us like the super motivational, like hard ass speech, and then instead she just like was crying and was like, "I'm so happy that we won." Like,
probably the most impactful pep talk moment was probably after our first conference game that we lost, like the day after. We got chewed out, honestly. And I feel like that kind of changed like the momentum going into the next game. And like that really just put like a fire under all of us, and like, yeah, we need to step up. Like everybody needs to perform better. So yeah.
It's good that you took it in a good note, right? I mean, there's sometimes players who like they get demotivated when it's like, no, you shouldn't be, right? Because I mean, everyone has their own way of saying things. I mean, there is probably coaches that don't say it the right way, or maybe they actually do say it in the wrong way. So it's good, that. Like, if anything, I always say use it as a motivation to be like, you know what, I'm gonna prove you wrong, so you don't do that again. Let's see, we got Hugo Estrada saying hola to my number one goalie.
Hola!
And yeah, Sharon said also, oh my, those are great memories you've shared, so impactful. So I got another one here too. What's one player that you admire and that you kind of like shape your game around?
That's a good question. Like male or female or?
Oh yeah, anyone. Yeah.
I don't know. I like ask myself this question a lot, but like if I were to like compare myself to like players, there's three. All right. So first of all, there's Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City. He's a very like technical player, very creative, very like decisive like passer. And then there's Karim Benzema from Real Madrid. He plays a false nine. He creates for everybody, and he finishes all the goals. He gets into like dangerous positions. He's just a clinical finisher. And then lastly would probably be Neymar, because like he's just like so like, I don't know, he's so like skillful and he's quick and he creates for everyone. So like for me, like my position as a nine, I'm more of a false nine that drops back, gets the ball, and like tries to create for everybody. But I also like have to score also for like as a nine. But yeah.
For me, I like Tian Endler. She plays for the Chilean national team, and she plays for Lyon. She's their goalie. I just really like her style of play. And I also like Courtois. I think he's a great goalie. Really supports Real Madrid. I feel like without them, the team. But I feel like without Courtois, it wouldn't be the team it is. I feel like he plays a big role in the back line.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely does. He has for a long time, right? I mean, any team he's been on, like, yeah, he's done usually. For the most part, he's done good, right? I mean, any goalkeeper has, a bad night and all that too. But yeah, for the most part, he is a big key. I mean, I feel like goalkeepers are always a big key. It doesn't matter like how amazing your team is. If your goalkeeper isn't all that great, it's not going to work out, right? Because on that note, now that we're speaking goalkeeping and whatnot, this one's for Alexia, of course, too. And, we know you're in the national team for Guatemala. So tell us more about what it was like when you first played for them. And when you go, let me backtrack on that. When you first get the call to the national team, what was that like? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Honestly, when I was really nervous. Like that was just like the overall feeling, because like you're going to a different country. I mean, I've been to Guatemala, but we're also traveling to go play in other games. Like my first game, we went to Curaçao. So it's just like a lot more nerve-wracking, like having to travel to a different country to then go to a different country, like and play a game. I was just really nervous, but I was super excited. I felt really like honored that I got that opportunity. But yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's very few people actually get to play for a national team, so it's got to feel like different, right? Especially when they do a national anthem at the beginning of games and all that, and just knowing that like you were selected from so many people that could have been selected to play for a national team. It's really cool.
I was so scared. I was like, what if I get so nervous, like I mess up the words, like because they pass by you with the camera. So I was like, oh my god. I was just like trying to calm down and breathe, like while I'm saying it, so I like don't forget anything because I was just nervous. I was literally like singing the song in my head as we're singing it.
It's like you got to practice probably the night before, right? And be like, all right, I'm gonna keep saying over and over and over.
Because I knew as soon as like we got in front of all those people, like I was gonna freeze. Like the camera was passing by me. Like it doesn't matter how much I practice. Like
that's true. Yeah, when you have the camera like right in front of you, and you know that like you were on like the full screen.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, not on this part. What couldn't you do at the beginning?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I knew it. I like knew it, but I was just like scared, like you know, but yeah.
It happens. And we've seen players, right? That like, and you know, nowadays you'll get called out on it, right? Sadly, with social media and all that, people like freeze a frame or like go slow mo and be like, "Did you see that they didn't?"
We're not even saying it. Like it doesn't matter words.
We're gonna have to be on the lookout in the World Cup. Let's see how many U.S. national team members know the Star Spangled Banner. Right? Let's see. Let's see how many do. So Sharon, yeah, again mentioning the names of the players too, and so she wants to know, okay, any women players?
Oh yeah, I really enjoy Kristen, like watching Kristen Press. I just feel like that's my type of player also. Like she creates, she scores, she defends, she's a utility player. She does it all. So
Dynamism.
Yeah. And then also Julie Ertz, she's just like she's a rock in the center of the field, whether she's playing center back, defensive mid, whatever. She's there. She's gonna take you out. She's gonna win the ball. Like she does the dirty work, and I appreciate that.
And yeah, those are great soccer icons you've listed.
Thank you.
So this one's for Alexia. What do you think about the U.S. Women's National Team goalkeepers?
I feel like, truthfully, since Hope Solo, I feel like they haven't found like I just feel like Hope Solo left like an amazing legacy as a keeper for the national team. So I feel like they're big shoes to fill for anybody. And unfortunately, I feel like the people that they have brought up haven't really like filled those shoes just yet. Yeah, I personally, have you seen the?
No, yeah, there's like not one constant like goalkeeper except for I guess Alyssa Nair.
But you think so?
She was like. She starts a lot of their games.
Well, now they switched it. Yeah. Now they have Casey Murphy. So
yeah,
I feel like it's constantly switching that too because they had Ashlyn Harris first.
Yeah.
So I feel like they can't even like commit to one goalie, truthfully.
Yeah.
And now this one's for Alexis. What do you think about the midfielders and forwards?
Oh, I love their midfielders. What is it? Samantha Mewis. I think she's a baller. I know Julie Ertz has been out because she had a kid recently. Yeah. But Rose Lavelle, she's awesome. Like I feel like their midfield is a huge part of their like team success, and also like the younger players moving up, like Sophia Smith, Katarina Macario, even though she's out. Who else? Went to UCLA for a little bit.
Pugh.
Yeah, Mallory Pugh, like she got called back up recently. She's been balling out.
Dunn.
Yeah, Crystal Dunn, she came back. She's just like their midfielders and forwards. I think they're a key part of their success, but more their midfield.
I just think they lack chemistry right now.
Yeah, they're trying to integrate like the youngers and the olders, and it's just like yeah, it's kind of a mess right now.
Yeah, but all teams go through that phase, right? Where you have your like all-star players and they're heading out, but then you're trying to like create the next generation of all-star players, but then you want to keep some of the older players still, and
Yeah.
yeah, it happens. And I'm sure with you guys in college, I mean, that's something that you always go through, right? Because you have the all-star junior, seniors, and then when y'all are out, it's like,
Every
you have to. Yeah, and then yeah, she just answered your question today. That's cool. um, let's see. I totally agree with your opinion about Hope Solo and the gap between Hope and everyone else. All right. Well, I think it's time to have some fun questions added here to the mix too. So we like to call them fast questions time. So I have 5 questions here. Again, all over the place, but let's go. First one is favorite pair of soccer cleats.
I like your
Mercurials.
yeah, Mercurials. Either those or like the socks. Those are my favorite pairs of cleats.
Mine too. I like the socks preferably, but I like the shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's why you guys are besties too. I mean, you you both have the same shoes too. Next one is your most challenging college course.
Probably anatomy and biology. Like just a lot of memorization and like learning about every part of like the body and stuff. It's a lot.
For me, I think it's just math. That was the hardest class.
Which math out of all the?
It was probability and statistics. It's like the first
Statistics
math.
so easy.
No, it's not. I did take it 3 times.
Oh yeah, no, I took it too. I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, especially once they start throwing words and all that, it's like it's already tough enough with numbers. Don't throw words in.
The graphs, like it's all too much. I just
Yeah. Just don't do pre-cal. Just letting you know, I did that. Stan as well. Yeah, it was rough. It gets worse after stats if you do pre-cal. So if you don't have to take it, try to avoid it. Next one, best food you've had in Sherlock.
I mean that is a tough question. You know,
I come from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Like there's so many more options in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and personally, Stockton, they have a lot of good food places. So coming to Turlock, it's hard. I think my favorite place is probably Chili's.
Yeah.
That's a food chain. But other than
The
that,
taco trucks. I think the taco
yeah, the
trucks are
taco
pretty good.
trucks. What is it? Silva's taco trucks.
Yeah.
And then also, I love Limo's. Limo's out here is really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they bring more options too. I know that. Yeah, there's not as much as other places too, but they used to have this place called Taco Bus a couple years back, and it was my favorite spot. Super unique. I don't think they have anything like that in the Bay Area. But you could literally eat inside like an old school bus from maybe like the 70s, 80s. And it was only like a one-man show. It was one older guy who like took your order. He cooked as well. You could use your credit card. And at the time, it was like not that many taco trucks had like credit cards. I mean, this was like 2013, 2014. So that spot was awesome. That was the spot to go to. But then Sally went away. So yeah, I get you. There's nothing unique now as much right now. Well, how about overall? Let's go back to your town. So best food in Stockton and best food in the Bay.
I feel like in Stockton, there's just like a lot of like, you know what they say, like hole in the wall spots. So like, it's
Those
just
are the best.
yeah, it's just like you go like to a random restaurant, like, oh, let me try this. And it could be like from any like culture. It could be like Indian, like African, Mexican, Asian. It's just like there's a lot of those like restaurants there that I like to try, and they're really good.
In the Bay, I feel like there's just so much. Like there's the best thing for every like genre of food, I feel like. You know? But I like this Thai place in San Bruno. So yeah. I really like Thai food in general. So. And that spot in particular.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if my co-host Sharon is still on, we had to talk about food. We make a joke every time we're on the podcast. We always mention food, and then it becomes a little like Food Network segment of sorts. You gotta have food, right? If you, whether you're a player or a fan of just the sport, you gotta have food at any point. Here's another food one. Speaking of food, this is a really funny one too. But does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh no. Never.
Okay, cool. You're on the same side as some of us too, so that's cool. Yeah, I always say that to him, like, doesn't you add pineapple at that point, it becomes a dessert, but I don't know. It's always you have people on the other side too, and I'm always intrigued. I'm like, if you do like it, like, what's your reason for that? Yeah, Sharon, everything devolves to food. Yeah. Yeah. We always joke. We're like, we're gonna do a show just dedicated entirely to food. There's all the food you can find wherever you're going to, whatever game you're going to. Actually, I have another one too here. Actually, this is number 5. I keep going back and forth. Last one. Most embarrassing moment this season. Or if you don't have one this season, just overall in your career too.
Oh God. Embarrassing.
Wow.
Oh. Embarrassing. I feel like I honestly don't feel like I've had embarrassing moments this season. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking really hard. I don't think I've had any.
Did we trip anytime? I'm trying to think.
Maybe you had the wide open net and you didn't kick it to go.
Okay. So, yeah, this is pretty embarrassing for me. I'm the main, like I say, I'm the main PK taker on our team.
Oh.
And, so in our last conference game, we're playing against East Bay, and we're down 1-0. We win a PK, and I go to shoot it, and like as I'm running up, I change my mind like last second on which side I'm going, and I just completely like whip at the ball, and like it just rolls slowly into the goalkeeper's hands, and I was done for. I was like, oh man.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, it's rough, right? I mean, right? And just looking at it from a fan perspective, anytime we see anyone do a PK, it's like, it's not the easiest thing. A lot of us probably would not want to be there taking that PK, right? Because you go from Carroll to Villain real quick, right? Especially in those games where you're like, my goal could have like gotten us the 3 points or even the tie, right? And we wouldn't have lost and all that too. So it's not easy, right? But the thing I always say is that, you've had some of the top players in the world miss penalty kicks, right? And they're considered the top players in the world. So really anyone can miss it. If they miss it, then anyone can miss a PK.
Yeah. I think mine, because you kind of remind me of PKs, the Hilo game when they had a PK on us, and as a goalie, I feel like you have to use everything you can in a PK to like psych them out. So I was talking to her, and I was just like, "You're gonna go on this plane without making this PK," and because they came from Hawaii. So I'm just talking to her like, "You're gonna miss this, like your team's gonna cry on the bus home," like. And then she scored, and I was like, ah.
Oh,
it's a little embarrassing, but I was like, I have to do everything I can. So.
you gotta try and do anything. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of things done. Like, the latest trend apparently is the Australian goalkeeper. I don't know if you guys saw the PK shootout against Peru for the World Cup qualifier. He started doing this like dance, and it became like a thing where now a lot of goalkeepers, I don't know if you've seen other goalkeepers now, they'll start to dance around and like move their hands around. Actually, the goalkeeper in the MLS final actually also did it too. I think it was I want to say it was the Philadelphia goalkeeper that did it too. So it's starting to become a thing to just do this like wacky dance and like move your hands around and just move from side to side. And I mean, I guess it works for some players that might be a little nervous like going into it.
Maybe I'll start doing TikTok dances on the goal line.
Yeah, or start something new, right? And it's like, all right, it picks up, and that's all it takes. And then you block it, and then there you go. And you're gonna start trending everywhere. And
doing a TikTok dance, block it.
Goes a long ways that you might even get drafted and play pro because they see that. right? You make it to ESPN, and yeah, it could happen. So we got a question from Gonzalo Martin. Who would y'all say are the favorites for this upcoming World Cup?
Oh, well, I'm a little Brazilian myself, so I have to go for Brazil. I think that like it's theirs to lose. Honestly, I don't care what anybody says. It's Brazil's to lose.
I'm gonna say Argentina because of my dad. My dad just loves Argentina through and through because of Messi. So.
Oh, Messi.
Hearing all the fan. He's just in the watch.
Sorry, Hugo.
Well, hey, there's a chance that they could play in the final. So that would be quite interesting if they do play and you guys are watching that final. And
was it The Simpsons? Didn't they say that The Simpsons predicted
Argentina and Portugal?
And Portugal, yeah.
Oh, is that the latest Simpsons futuristic thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, a lot of people are saying that too. I feel like that would be the ultimate final, right? Seeing Messi against Cristiano, and especially because it's their last World Cup, and everyone would want to dream of seeing both of them play against each other. And I mean, they would give it their all, right? I mean, it's like you're playing against your number one rival in history. So, let's see here, and I'm also going with Brazil. And I mentioned it before too. I think they're the favorites too. But I don't know. I always say though, I hope that it's a team that's never won it before, because it's really awesome to see teams that never win it. First of all, make it to a final is already great, but to take the World Cup, right? I mean, can you imagine a team that no one gave a chance, right? Like say the U.S., right? Because they have such a young squad, and everyone's like, they're the real deal is going to happen in 4 years when the World Cup's here, and those players are going to be older, but. Imagine if they took it and it's like, whoa, no one gave them a chance to even make it past, like, I don't know, round of 16, and when they got it. We got Tina saying, have to try to get an advantage any way you can, in reference to the goalkeeper. Yeah, you see it all too, and sometimes it works though. So I mean, you gotta keep doing it. I feel like there is no goalkeeper that doesn't do that, right? I mean. They all do that too. I'm sure Alexis, like you've had to. I mean, you've encountered goalkeepers too, right? As you're about to like do the kick, and referees trying to like pull them aside, like, hey, like don't get too close to them, and they're like, trying to scream.
Players that are like behind me, they're like, don't miss. Really? Like, yeah.
I mean,
all the games that I'm taking PKs, they're like, oh, she's going this way. I'm
you guys better start doing that.
Well, hey, that's another tactic. Either it's not only the goalkeeper; everyone else could play their part. Sharon's got a funny question here. Who's the better dancer?
Alexis.
Yeah.
There's no. I'm not even gonna try to lie.
And I'm not that good either, so that says a lot.
She just gets it a lot fast. Like she'll watch it once or twice, and then she's like, "Oh, I got it." And I'm like still trying to count the beats in my head, like.
Have you done like a dancing celebration? I feel like there's been some there in the mix.
I have. I've done. What have I done this season? I've done the gritty. And challenge. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
What else? I've done like a little like mime celebration after one of my. Yeah. What else? I've done the Cristiano one.
Which one out of all the ones he's done? The jumping up? Oh, okay.
And then I think my favorite one was probably like the Steph Curry like night one. I think
that one was my favorite.
Yeah, I scored like a free kick, and like I just went to the crowd because they're talking a lot, and I was like, go to sleep. Like,
oh.
After that.
Yeah, that's such a good celebration too. I mean, one of our players in a PK shootout for Sacramento, he also did it too. And the craziest thing is that he did that, but before he did that, he did a backflip. He did the other, and then he did that too. It was, and even crazier to top it off. So again, this was a cup semifinal PK shootout. He did the Panenka.
Oh,
to top it off. Yeah. That is like the most iconic penalty kick plus celebration combo that I've ever seen, and I don't think anyone will top that. especially in the moment they were in. I mean, this was a semifinal cup, and we're at home. It's like a full stadium, and you're playing against an MLS team, which is always really tough. And yeah, but it works. I mean, but it's always a risk, right? It's like I'm sure you miss it, and the coach is not gonna like you ever again, probably.
Did you see the game that Chicharito took the PK?
The funniest thing is that he tried doing it on the same exact goalkeeper that our player did it on.
Oh, really?
It was the same exact, and so the goalkeeper was like, not happening again too. So it's like he shouldn't have even tried it, because that goalkeeper, that he's got that fresh in his mind. Of course he's gonna and it happened literally, I think, like not too long after that game, probably like a couple of weeks after too. So it's like, yeah, don't try it again too. I mean, it works once, right? But I'm sure, Alexia, you can agree, right? As a goalkeeper, like, I mean, you see how players, take their shots or whatever you got scored on, especially if you got scored on a Panenka, you're gonna be more aware of that, right?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna be more careful now, so I don't get embarrassed, because I mean, it was pretty embarrassing, I'm sure, for that goalkeeper to, have to go through that. Sharon said, yeah, I picked Argentina and take it out. We have a contest. So we have a contest. Our latest podcast, we did our World Cup predictions, and she picked Argentina too. So, and I did Brazil. Our other co-host picked Croatia, which was a wild card pick of sorts too. Although they made it, but
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Mars Vlog saying, "What keeps you going when playing soccer?"
For me personally, it's probably my family. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be playing the sport without them, and like to know like how much sacrifice like they put into me, like getting this far in general. It's just, I just play for them every time. Like I get down, I'm like, okay, like I have to do it for them. If I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the same reason. My family also. Also myself, like I just really love the sport. I love my family too, but if I didn't love the sport, then I wouldn't be doing it. But yeah, I'll take both.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, because I mean, yeah, I think whichever player out there, I mean, families do a lot of sacrifice, right, with practice, and especially you have to drive a little bit further on, or asking time off from work, and there's a lot that goes to it too, and like it sounds easy, but I mean, there's, whether it's your parent or whether it's another parent that like sacrificed part of their career, or just their free time, and they still did that. So it's awesome to hear all that. Sharon said, Chicharito didn't even do it right. Not a Panenka master at all. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't even a Panenka, I think, at the end of the day, right? It was like a really fail. I mean, it takes skill, right? And I mean, I don't know if like Alexis, you would ever dare to do, or if you've ever even done one, maybe in practice or what. But
I mean, I try all the time in practice. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But it's just, it takes a lot. Like I don't think I'll ever do it in a game, honestly. It is.
Yeah. I mean, Alexa, have you ever had it done against you, or
No,
hasn't happened? Oh, okay. So everyone's careful. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of risk, right? And it's like the odds are you're probably gonna embarrass yourself more than you're actually gonna make it, right? And everyone's gonna be angry at you, and you'll probably be benched, and never take a PK ever again. That's for sure. Cool. Well, I have one more question here, and if anyone else has any more questions, drop them in the chat, because this is the last one that I have here for you guys. And that's, what are your future soccer career plans? Do you plan on continuing to pursue it? Do you just see yourself doing college, or what do you see yourself?
Me personally, I plan on continuing. I don't know where yet, but I would like to play in Mexico. So hopefully in the future, once I'm done with college, playing pro in Mexico, and I'm still gonna play hopefully with the national team. But yeah.
With my soccer career, I'm just taking it day by day. I've played the sport for so long, and I've put a lot of time and effort and like sacrificed a lot with myself and like my body. And so, I mean, when the time comes, like when I graduate next year, I think I'll know in the moment. But right now, I'm just taking it day by day, and if I get the opportunity, I'll gladly take it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure, I mean, you're getting viewed by so many different teams out there when you're playing college. And if you win a championship, like you just won this one too, I mean, the spotlight is more on you too. So hopefully it works out, and we could be talking in like 3-4 years, and having you back on here to talk about what it was like to to play in your first like pro game too. So let's see, do we have any more comments on the chat? Again, if you guys want to leave a comment, I'll give you all about a minute to do so there. But yeah, I mean, I think, oh, here we go. We got, right as I said it, there's a delay too, of course. So there's that. Sharon saying, thank you so very much for joining our live show. Stay awesome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and just give you all the thanks. Thank you so much for spending this Thursday evening here with us on the podcast. Really appreciate it, and best of luck next year. I mean, you're gonna be playing one more year, right? I assume, of college. Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Best of luck next year. I mean, you won it this year, and I'm sure next year you could do NCAA probably too, because you kind of raised the bar now, and you got the first one, so you have that motivation too. So hope all goes well, and again, hope the best of luck in that you play in club, and that Guatemala keeps calling you as well for the national team, and that we could see you playing even in the World Cup one day. Why not, right? I mean, that'd be really cool. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much to everyone who tuned in. As always, we really appreciate y'all watching our live show, and if you want to listen to our podcast, again, you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, so Spotify, Apple, Google, and all the other ones. We're on all of them, and we are going to be doing more live shows, again, interviewing people in the soccer community here in the Central Valley. So be on the lookout. Follow us on our socials at State Republic 12 on all the main ones, and we'll let y'all know whenever we have our next live show interview. So you two have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.